Hello, my crafty friends. It's Michelle, the Southern Shell, and I am here with the Everything Crafting Collaboration. Our hosts are Katie from Lady Red Crafting and Lisa from Our Gray House. Guest host today is Catherine from A Perfect Place to Start. Let's get into project number 1. Okay, y'all. So I went ahead and created that image on Canva, and I wanted to create a s'more. I had created s'mores for the first time for Christmas at the beginning of the month with the 12 Days of Christmas collaboration, and I think they turned out adorable. So I wanted to do another little set of some s'mores Christmas for the craft show before the season is on me too soon. So I went ahead and took this wood half round, 12 inches, and I painted it front and back with my Waverly Hazelnut chalk paint. Then I came in with the image that I created and I just fussy cut around the s'more itself. And it's the trick is to move your paper while holding your scissors as still as you can. If I was doing a smaller cut, I would be using my smaller scissors. But because this little s'more guy, this little snowman s'more, is a little big, I just went ahead and used my large scissors here to cut him out. Now, because I painted my half wood round in the hazelnut, I went ahead and came in with my Waverly Snow White and painted the back of the snowman's face. Only that area which is going to be white or toasted marshmallow. And I'm doing this because I don't want the marshmallow to be too discolored by putting it down on that hazelnut. I did use my mulberry paper when printing this out. I just pulled up a s'more image and added a snowman face to this image, and it just was perfect. Now I wanted to kind of give a general, where is this little guy going? Because now I'm going to come in with some of this is, oh, what color is this one? Sandstone. This is the sandstone. I'm sorry, guys. So everywhere where I kind of drew out that line, I'm coming in with the sandstone. I'm going off the edge a bit here, and then I'm just going to come in and fill the whole center of this area with the sandstone. There you have it. I'm going to help it dry a little bit by hitting it with my heat gun here, and my hands are just a mess. I am a messy slow crafter. This is sped up at least 3 times. It may be 3.25. I don't remember, but I know it's at least 3 times. So here is me fussy cutting out the little letters here. Now I'm not going to cut them out individually. I did it this way because not everybody has a Cricut. So I wanted you to be able to see how you can do this if you don't have a cutting machine. Now I do have a Cricut. I could have easily made a stencil or a vinyl cutout. But this is how you can do it if you have a printer or even just paper. Something with paper and you're going to handwrite it, or you can handwrite it on your board yourself. It doesn't matter. But if you print it, you can do it this way. So now the Mod Podge. I'm just laying a good coat of Mod Podge. Let that dry. And now I'm going to lay my snowman s'more down on top of that dry Mod Podge and come in with some parchment paper and my little Cricut mini press. We're just going to iron this little guy right on down there, making sure I cover those edges nicely. I went ahead and did the same thing with my words, and now I'm coming back in with my hazelnut and going all around those edges. Now it looks like it's either hand painted on there. Actually, it does look hand painted on there. Because it is mulberry paper, it is not a vinyl, and it's not a stencil, but you could have done stencil. I'm coming in now with my sprinkle, chocolate sprinkle, and I'm outlining just on the right sides of my letters. I wanted a little bit of definition, and this also helps it look hand painted instead of like you Mod Podge letters on there. I went around the whole right side of all of my letters. Now I'm coming in with my pink sky. Now, pink cloud and pink sky are two, the pink sky is darker. You can see that here. The pink cloud is much lighter. Now we're just going to go ahead and seal this off with some Mod Podge. Now, because I have a inkjet printer, I should have sprayed this. I usually do. I don't know what was wrong with my brain the day, but I had to be very careful with the Mod Podge over that because it does reactivate that ink in an inkjet printer and you can smear it. And as I was doing this, I'm like, oh snap, I did not seal my image, but it worked. So I went ahead and laid some hot glue across the top there, added some greenery from Temu eons ago, and now I'm adding a red ribbon across the top. I have these frosted berries, and we're just going to lay that right in that hot glue there, and then lay that ribbon right across the top of those berries and that greenery. I'm laying it flat down, you can see there, and then I'm going to pull it up, and that way it's going to help hold everything in place. Using the Beacons 3-in-1 on the back, it's going to tack down that ribbon. That is not going to go anywhere. So this will be a nice strong hanger. Now on the front of that, I'm going to lay right across the front there the hot glue, and I'm going to add in 3 of those pine cones that I gather out of the yard. I love them. It's a whole lot cheaper. I don't know, my knees may be saying no, it's not cheaper, but it's cheaper. And there you have it. Look at how adorable that turned out. I went ahead and just did a little finger bow on the top there by tying those 2 pieces, pulling, flipping it around and pulling that bottom out nice and tight. Folded it forward, added some hot glue to the back of that, and now you have a bow at the top of your red ribbon to hang this I love you s'more sign. I think it's adorable. Let's get on to project number 2. These were my favorite. I can't wait to share this with you. But before we do, I want to remind you that this is the Everything Crafting collaboration with Katie, Lisa, and Catherine. The links to the host channel will be in my description box below, along with the playlist to the other wonderful crafters participating in this collaboration. Guys, go down, visit them, and show them some love. I'm sure you already know these ladies, but if you don't, please check them out. So here I have a 12 by 12 piece of wood, and it's thin. I use it in my Cricut machine. And then I have this styrofoam chest lid. Look at this. I have been saving this. My husband's medicine had come in it, and I'm like, I can use this for something. And so I just came in with my plastic knife here and cut the rim off of the inside of this lid so that I could have a smoother surface. Look at that mess. Oh my gosh, I had balls on me all day. So once that was all done, I went ahead and just gathered all those little balls up because guess what? Looks like snow to me. So I'm taking my piece of 12 by 12 wood here, and I am measuring out 3 inches and marking it, measuring it out 3 inches and marking it. And every time I move up, I just want to make sure that I'm even because I'm going to create the lines that I need to cut this wood out. I decided to go with the 3 by 3 because when I'm looking at the tree, I'm like, okay, what would be a good size where it's not going to be overwhelming, like goofball looking, but it's also not going to like disappear into the tree. And so I thought a 3 by 3 ornament would be perfect. I did the same thing here for the styrofoam lid, except, of course, my marshmallow is not going to be the same size as my graham cracker. So I went down to 2¼ inches, marked that off at 2¼ inches, and did the same process like I did on the wood. Once I have those all lined up and divided equally, I'm going to go ahead and come in and get these cut. So I just came on in along those lines that I drew and cut out each piece of this styrofoam. I didn't want those balls to continue falling off, and I could not figure out the best way to do this because the more you cut, the more those balls came loose. And I'm like, "Ugh, it's styrofoam, it's gonna melt." So I used some parchment paper and my Cricut Easy Press here, and look at that. How cool did that turn out? So now back to our Waverly hazelnut. I was going to call it a waver nut. Okay, our Waverly hazelnut. And these actually took, by the time I was done, I think it was like 4 different layers because I wanted the look of graham cracker. So I got the first coat on there and have them set back to dry. And now I'm coming in with my lightweight wall putty, and I'm going all the way around the edge of this because I wanted it to be a little smoother and a little, any of those little cracks where bigger parts of the ball have fallen off. You don't have to do this part at all. I didn't want to see that it was styrofoam underneath there. Now, I probably could have gone in and just melted it more so it was a lot smoother, but I went ahead and used the spackle. This is the next day because it took forever to dry. I don't know why. That usually dries very fast. So back to my graham crackers. I have, of course, my hazelnut, and I'm going to come in with my antique wax. And you see here, I just dabbed all over the tops of those again. And look at the different texture now. Okay, so I have a leather working piece here, and it has just a sharp tip on the other side to make indentions in your belts or whatever you're using it for. But look, it's making graham cracker dots on the top of my wood. I am loving the way these are coming out. And now I'm going back in with some more of that Waverly, some more texture. It was a process. Now I'm coming back with those styrofoam pieces and sanding the spackling on those just to smooth it out just a little bit more. I used 180 grit sandpaper on that. Now I'm coming in with I had painted with, here we go, the Snow White. I came in with Snow White first, and I wanted to make sure we had a good coat of Snow White paint over that plaster. Now I'm coming through here and I've got an upholstery needle because I was looking at my graham crackers and I'm like, something's missing. I'm like, well, the perforation. Of course the perforation's missing where those 2 graham crackers snap apart. So I came in with that upholstery needle, went right down the center on this graham cracker and put those little perforation marks on my graham cracker tops. I was so happy with that. So once the white was dry, I came back in with my sandstone, put some on a little plastic piece there, spritz it with some water, and now I'm just dusting over the tops of my marshmallows to create my little toasty areas. I now have outrageous orange. I'm going to drop some on there, and I have these craft sticks. So I pulled out 6 of them, and I painted the ends of each one of these with my outrageous orange, popped them on in the top of that styrofoam, what a perfect little holder, and painted all 6 of my noses here. I wanted some dimension to these carrot noses, so I mixed in some hazelnut and then some of that sandstone, and I did not blend it. I just mixed them so they were very haphazard and brushed over the top, giving each of these noses some dimension. So now I have some little tiny brads. Look how adorable. I picked out 12 of my little black ones because these are going to be my snowman s'more eyes. So once I had those picked out, I came in with my nose, marked a little area, used my upholstery needle there to mark out where the eyes are going to be, then used my pliers to dip the end of that brad into my 3-in-1 glue. Beacon 3-in-1, perfect for this type of craft. Pop it right on in that hole, and then I'm going to stick some beacons on the end of the nose and slide that right on in there. Made sure it was in there nice and tight. and then I finished all of these marshmallows and made them look like snowman. I am loving this. So here you go. Look at how adorable those are. So now I had to create my chocolate. I don't have any puffy paint, so I used some clear hot glue here, and I just let it drizzle down the side of each of these snowmen, each of my marshmallows, and I went ahead and set it aside to let those fully dry. Guys, this was a hoot. You should have seen me because it touched my hand and it touched my hand on another one, and I had glue spider webs everywhere. It's hilarious. I was laughing so hard. Anyway, let's get back to it. I'm using my chocolate sprinkle and some white to create some milk chocolate color. And I'm coming in and I'm painting right along those glue drips. This was perfect. It turned out so easy. The color was perfect. And it just looks like melted chocolate sliding down my toasted marshmallow. Of course, my little snowman face is on there, and he is just looking adorable. Once I had all them done, I came in with my tops for my graham crackers, and I have some 18 gauge red wire here. I went ahead and cut out 6 pieces at 3 inches, and this is going to give me a little topper for the top, so that I can place some greenery and some beads and go ahead and add a velvet. No, I used a satin ribbon on these. Anyway, sorry. I went ahead and took the wire, wrapped it around the end of my pliers there to create a loop so that they would be uniform. Used my little pliers to poke and pull both ends through and opened it up just like you would a brad. And that created a nice little holder on top of each one of my graham crackers to hang from. So it just turned out great. So anyway, I'm sorry guys, I'm mumbling. This is like the third time I've had to do this, and I'm just struggling here. There's struggle bus, man. I'm taking my beacons 3-in-1 once again and putting it in the center of where that wire opens up. And now I'm putting hot glue around the outside of my little marshmallow and placing that graham cracker right in the center of my marshmallow head. Make sure you've got them in their center. You don't want them too cockeyed. I did that with each one of these, adding the beacons 3-in-1 and the hot glue and laying that right in the center. Once I got each one of those tops on, I was able to come in and do the same exact thing on the bottom. So I'm going to flip them over, excuse me, and come in with the beacons 3-in-1 in the center of each of those snowman head, my marshmallow snowman. And then after I get that beacons 3-in-1, I'm coming in with my hot glue, and that is going just around the edge of that marshmallow. Once I get that hot glue on there, you'll see me lining up the other graham cracker piece, and then I'll set it on my board and make sure that it is even all the way around. Once that is dry, I'm going to come in and I'm going to add some hot glue around the bottom of the marshmallow sitting here because it is a toasted marshmallow. And when that chocolate is melting and my toasted marshmallow is hot and I squeeze it between 2 graham crackers, I'm going to have a little marshmallow squish coming out the bottom. So I came in and added that hot glue to make it look like I had a little marshmallow squish coming out the bottom of my marshmallow snowman. Once that was dry, I came in with some Waverly chalk paint in Snow White, painted the tops of that glue. I started with some acrylic white paint, but it did not want to cover that glue properly, so I just switched right on over to my Waverly chalk paint, and it was perfect. Once that was dry, I came back in with that sandstone and dusted across for more toasty. Look at how adorable they turned out. I added some greenery and some beads along with some pine cones from my yard on top to decorate these adorable s'mores. Gosh, tell me what you think.
Would you look at that? Oh, I think that turned out so cute. But these are my favorite. I've never done s'mores for Christmas until I did 12 days Christmas collab, and on the list was to do s'mores. And I did some glass ornaments and made some little pieces to go in there, some little chocolate pieces, some little miniature marshmallows, and some graham crackers. But I think these are adorable. And they're sturdy. And they're going to last. I just love it. Oh my word. Just the look of the top. Oh, I just think they're adorable. Okay, guys, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. You don't have to like it as much as I do, but give me a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed, I hope you will consider doing so now by hitting that red subscribe button. If you want to know when my next video is going live, hit that bell notification and YouTube should notify you. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Your time is precious. I know it, and I appreciate you. As always, guys, stay safe, God bless, and bye for now.